Yo, what's up guys? AlexChrisMartin here. And now I'm a hydrated AlexChrisMartin. So today I want to come at you guys with a little bit different kind of video. This one's going to be targeted at any like other fitness professionals or personal trainers that might watch my videos. And essentially just what I want to do is I want to give a couple quick tips for personal trainers, generally people obviously who are new to personal training. Now I've been personal training, I'm coming up on a year now. So obviously I'm not like the best in the world or have this crazy track record or a master personal trainer, which by the way is a bullshit title for them to sell to you, but it's whatever. What is a master personal trainer? What do you have, like 2 certs and you're a master now? Congrats dude, you took 2 classes that were like a week long. Anyways, first tip I'm gonna have is gonna be that hour, that half hour, whatever, is not your hour. It is the client's hour, okay? So you talk to the client, you want to know what's going on with them in their lives. Build that personal relationship, you know. If they ask you about yours, that's great, but do not spend the half an hour talking about yourself. This was a piece of advice that I got from a trainer I've known for a pretty long time. He's very successful and he said that that's the best piece of advice that he ever got. He passed it on to me and I still think about that piece of advice to this day. I think that that's really important. You know, these people pay a lot of money, whatever they might pay. Maybe it's $75 an hour, maybe it's 40 an hour, maybe it's 100 an hour. Regardless, that's their hour. They don't need to be hearing about your problems. Obviously, unless they ask, it's a little bit different, but they don't need to hear about your problems. You don't need to be talking about yourself the whole time. Make it about them. It's their hour. You're there to help them, not to help you. It's a therapy session for them, not for you. Tip number 2 is gonna be to be a form Nazi, but know your limits. So, you know, we can sit there and we can say, chest high, shoulders back, through your heels, knees straight, whatever. We can sit there and we can kind of pound that in a client's head over and over and over again until you feel like you're gonna puke because you've said it so much. And they might listen, they might not. Now, hopefully they listen and they're able to pick up on it, but some movements just don't click for certain people. For example, if you're trying to tell someone to keep their lower back straight, but they don't have the hip mobility for a stiff leg deadlift from the floor, it's just not gonna happen. There's no reason in you continually saying, straight back, straight back, straight back, straight back. That's a lift that's not just gonna happen. That's just not gonna happen. Or for example, if you're trying to have them do pull-ups, they're not strong enough and they're arching at the top of the bar and they're getting to the bar like this rather than shoulders down and depressed, and you keep telling them shoulders down and depressed, they don't have the strength to do that. There's no point in you sitting there screaming at them or even just pounding in their head those same cues over and over and over again if they physically cannot handle it. Now, if it's something like a rope tricep push down and you're saying keep your wrist straight and the wrists aren't staying straight, either A, you need to pick an easier movement for that person, or B, you lighten the load until they're bored out of their mind and they have to make it work right. But at the same time, you have to stay on par with their form. You have to make sure they're not gonna get hurt on your hour. How does that make you look as a fitness professional if someone is hurt on your hour or under your instruction? That is personally one of my biggest fears that I don't ever want to happen to me. So one of the biggest things I always say to a client is my #1 priority is going to be your safety. So if I'm writing you about your form, that's why. And I think this is also something really important where the hip mobility discussion comes into play. You know, if you have someone squatting ass to grass, but again, they don't have the hip mobility, suddenly you're coming from lumbar flexion to lumbar extension and now you've got a herniated disc because you have X amount of weight on this person's back that they just cannot handle. And that's okay. They don't have to handle it. Thank you, computer. The whole thing is supposed to be a process. The last tip I want to give on this video is going to be to know when you're wrong or you don't know the answer to something. I went to the Cooper Institute. Phenomenal school here in Dallas. I went to a week-long course. I did 35 hours and then I took a test and that's how I got my certification. A full-time job, but just learning, that's not going to be able to prepare you for absolutely any situation that's thrown at you in the gym or any kind of question that a client might have. So I think it's very important to, rather than bullshit your client, say, A, I don't know, or B, let's figure it out. There's so much information out there on the internet that a lot of the times, you know, even if you were someone who wanted to bullshit your client and think that you could get away with lying about something, 9 times out of 10, they can just Google it and find out, oh wow, my trainer's lying to me. And now they're questioning every single thing you've taught them. They're questioning who you are as a person. And it's just really not something you want to get involved in. So if you don't know, say, I don't know. If you do know, say you know. If you're not sure, give your answer and say, but I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that. It's not that hard. Those are gonna be my 3 tips for fellow fitness professionals and personal trainers. If you guys have any questions in the comments, please feel free to let me know. Any sort of video ideas, anything like that, I'd be more than happy to cover some kind of topic someone may have a question on. But in my year of personal training, I've seen some really good trainers and some really bad trainers. And so I really just wanted to throw that out there. Hopefully I fall into the category of a good trainer, and hopefully you do too, or whatever fitness professional you're working with does as well. These are all, I think, very, very important things. Obviously, there's other things that come with the job and come with the task of being a personal trainer or a fitness professional. These are all really important things to keep in mind. With that, guys, I'm AlexChrisMartin, and I'm gonna see you in the gym.